The following podcast contains spoilers for Jingle All the Way. You haven't won.
No, I want an officer red undercover knife and 270 my rifle.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh my God! Santa here? I know him.
Oh, these cookies! I gotta get the recipe from Les.
Put that cookie down now.
Yes, this Christmas music. It's joyful and triumphant.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. I've got my stogie, I've got my ego, and I've brought my muscles. It's me, Benjamin Button, along with my host.
I don't know. Dude, I got worse throughout that accent. Holy shit. I'm normally pretty decent.
I'm never, you know me, accents
Yeah,
and
I do. Miguel Magusto.
impressions. Yes, accents and impressions I'm never good at, so...
Oh, man.
You know, I just do it to make people cringe at this point, and it's lovely.
And if you're not cringing, we just got to keep going.
Just gotta keep going.
Come on.
Glenn,
Yes?
how are you doing?
Splendid. I had a nice long weekend with the family. We did a second Thanksgiving, and I got stuck there on Sunday. It snowed, and the roads got really icy. I'm like, I'm not gonna risk it for the biscuit. I'm gonna go home tomorrow morning. So that's what I did. I came home today, which is Monday.
Yeah.
And I went straight to work like an insane man. 4-hour drive straight to work, and then only worked a few hours though, so I can't complain that much. But other than that, I didn't watch very much. I rewatched some movies and such.
Do tell.
Definitely The Polar Express. I can't get away from that movie in this holiday season.
Never seen it.
And just some other dumb ones my little cousins put on when they're losing their minds with hyperactivity and sugar and such. So I turned my brain off for those ones. But Miguel, I know you little scandalous man. You had to have watched some movies.
I watched a few.
Dude,
I'm assuming the ones that you have seen, we've seen together.
I believe so.
Okay. Well, the first one I saw was King Richard, which is with Will Smith and John Bernthal's in there, and other people. It is about Venus and Serena Williams as they're like training with their dad to become tennis stars, and like kind of hit the regimen he put them through and how supportive he was and everything. It's a fine, feel-good movie, you know. It gets to the point where Will Smith's character is a little annoying with how overbearing he is. Kind of reminds me of, I don't know the dad's name, but do you know the Ball brothers in the NBA and their dad? I want to say it's Lonzo Ball, but I'm not sure.
I was just saying that's the only like Ball last name that I know of is Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, where he's just like, yeah, he has their best intentions in mind, but he's going a little too hard. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that, where it's just like they're already great, they're gonna continue to be great. Mm-hmm. You're only making their image look bad.
Yeah,
that's where it came from, and you're glad that they have supportive parents like that. But calm your tits a bit, man.
just calm them down.
Yeah, and with it is a whole thing, but it's a solid film, you know, nothing crazy. Will Smith's really good in it, but yeah, it's fine.
All right.
Then I went to Bryn Mawr Film Institute, which I haven't been to in a minute.
I do miss that place.
It's a great place, and I saw The Power Over the Dog, which is Benedict Cumberbatch, Cody Smith McPhee, Kirsten Dunst, Mr. Dunst. Also known as Jesse Plemons. They're in a movie together, you know.
Holy crap, that's impossible.
Yeah. And Thomasin McKenzie's in there for a bit, too. She has a small role. Mm-hmm. Essentially, it is about these two rancher brothers who one is, like, extremely mean and picks on Cody Smith McPhee's character, which turns out to be Jesse Plemons, who's his brother. It turns out to be his stepson. And yeah, drama happens.
Not the drama.
I really liked it. It's one of those movies where you're just like, looking for something to have been said the whole time,
Okay.
and it's not really saying anything. It's not making a point, which it kind of feels like it's going to be making a point at some point, but never does. But it's still a really good movie regardless. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me because I watched it. But
I believe in you. I
The
do.
entire time I was just like, okay, where are you going with this? And then it just ends.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, that's okay. But the more I sit on it, the more I like it. It's a really good movie overall.
That's good.
Just a little bit of a slow burn. Mm-hmm. Then I watched Encanto, which is Disney's newest animated movie. John Leguizamo provides a voice as does Stephanie Beatriz, Cecilia Botero, Wilmer Valderrama, and several others.
That is a name I haven't heard in a minute.
Yeah, it's about a magic house.
Oh, a magic house,
Essentially,
you say?
it's a kids movie. It's a Disney movie. You know what you're getting. Mm-hmm. It's fine. It's a good movie. Then we both watched House of Gucci, which
That is true.
we have a review of that on the interwebs on YouTube's if you want to check that out. Then I watched Cold War, which is a Polish film directed by, I believe his name is Paweł Pawelski or something. Let me check what his name is. But this is one that John Clark, a friend of the podcast, has been like pressuring me to see. Paweł Pawlikowski is the director's name, and I hate to say it, John, didn't like it. I see why he likes it and why a lot of people love it. It is a facade of a good romance film.
Okay.
The problem is you never see why the people are in love. It's more like a lust film than it is a romance film. If that makes sense. Like they're two attractive people and they get it on. But then they keep breaking up and it's just kind of frustrating where you're just like the story doesn't really have any flow. It's beautifully acted, beautifully shot and everything. Lazily written, in my opinion. It's a lazy setup with an even lazier conclusion. I can't say more than that without giving it away, but it's half-assed in my opinion, and that is why I didn't like it. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5, so it's like very middle.
Yeah.
But it could have been so much better if they fucking tried.
Just tried a little bit harder.
Yeah, just try.
Maybe a little more love instead of the lust.
It kind of felt like they had a bunch of different ideas for single stories. And then they put the same people in them, but then they connected them because of the same. It's dumb. It's hard to explain, but it's frustrating because it could have been so good, and I didn't believe that they were in love. I believe they just wanted to bang each other,
which I do not doubt they did.
So then the stuff that they do for each other in the name of love, quote unquote, is just like no, you wouldn't do that.
They got to stop in the name and love instead. And
Exactly.
They just wouldn't.
Exactly. Then I watched. I've been working on a series that will come out eventually of me going through the 1001 movies you must watch before you die. I watched one called Fish Tank, which is an independent British film about this poor girl who kind of falls in love with her mother's boyfriend. She's 15. He's not 15. He's an adult, So it's just kind of that, her struggles and everything. And kind of a coming of age story in that sense. It's really good. Not really my cup of tea, which is why I didn't rate it higher. But it's well made. It makes its point. It's good. Michael Fassbender's in it. He's got a great performance. So there's that. Honestly, I didn't like it at all until like maybe the last 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes are really strong.
How long was it?
Hour 45, hour 50, something like that.
It's not that bad. If it was 2 hours, it would have been pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean it's not like the first hour 20 or whatever it is bad. It's just like it's boring and not really doing anything. And then the last half hour you're like, yeah, exactly. It's hard to explain again without giving too much away, but it has a strong finish. Then I watched Jingle All the Way. We'll get into in a minute. Then for that 1001 movies you must see before you die, I also watched a movie called David Holtzman's Diary, which is about a film director who gets a grant. And all these filmmaking grants that people get, they absolutely love it when you keep the money for yourself and make a daily diary.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't.
So this is in the 60s. This is essentially like YouTube vloggers before YouTube. That's what it is. Except for he's a creep and a voyeur, and then wonders why everyone's getting mad at him.
That kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, he makes himself the victim. It has not aged well. I understand why people liked it. It's an interesting character study, but it did not age well because he's always like, "Oh, woe is me," blah blah blah. He's a the standard white guy becoming the victim kind of thing.
I just wanted to see them change their clothes.
Well, it's not even that. He just wants to study them
with nothing on.
Yeah, but like he follows this woman off the subway for a very long time.
Ooh.
And then, like, she's obviously panicking, and he keeps, like, pursuing to the point where, like, she starts running, he starts running. I'm like, dude, just fucking stop. Mm-hmm. It's hard to like the person that the entire movie's about. So,
yeah.
Other than that, it's a fine movie. It's just, it did not age well at all. Then I watched Seven Chances for the 1001 movies you must watch before you die. It's a
You're going hard on that list there.
Yeah, Buster Keaton movie. I had seen it before, but I wasn't sure until the blackface came up. And I was like, oh, yes, I remember this blackface. I was just as uncomfortable then as I am now. But
it does spark the memories. Damn them.
If you ignore... I hate to say this, but
yes.
If you ignore the one character that's in blackface, who's only in it maybe a total of 5 minutes... It's a really good movie. There's other black characters played by black actors that are not caricatures of people. So I don't know why they made a blackface character.
Why they decided to do that?
Yeah, it's the 20s. I like Buster Keaton's movies, but he probably was a little bit racist. But it's other than that, it's a good movie. I would have rated it 5 stars if it weren't for that. But it's a good movie. It's fun. It's got a lot of funny bits. Then again, for the final movie, and this is the last one, I promise, I watched another 1001 movies you must see before you die.
Crazy man.
Which is Laurence Olivier's Henry V, which is based on Shakespeare's Henry V. This movie was made and funded by the British government as a morale booster after World War II. And you can tell that that's the case. It's very... school stage play-y, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's one of Shakespeare's not as interesting plays, and there's a strong part towards the end, and it almost ends really strongly. But you remember The King with Timothée Chalamet, right?
I do.
Okay, so we talked about that on the podcast. In the end, he defeats France and marries the Princess of France or whatever. Great ending. That's how this ends, because this is based. The King is based on Henry V. This ends with that, but then there's like a 10 to 15 minute long discussion between him and the Princess of France that it just kind of kills any momentum that it had, which is not Laurence Olivier's fault. It's no one's involved's fault. It's Shakespeare's fault.
Yeah.
Because
Shakespeare do that.
He do that. So it's okay. It's a Shakespeare play. It's well made. It's well acted, but I didn't care for it. But that's all I watched. Way longer than I meant to go on.
Hey, that's why we cut some things.
So let's get into a little bit more serious of a conversation.
Yes.
Jingle All the Way.
Every holiday season, there's one toy everyone has to have.
I want the Turbo Man action figure with the arms and legs that move, and the Rocky Roaring jetpack, and the boomerang shooter.
Getting it is every child's dream.
Whoever doesn't can be a real loser.
Finding it
You got the doll, right?
is this father's nightmare.
I'll get that toy. I promise. Whoa! Nothing like waiting until the last minute, Howard, sir.
Especially on Christmas Eve.
Turbo Man, you're mine!
They're all gone.
These two are looking for a Turbo Man!
Where's your Christmas spirit?
The last one just left.
Now, it's two fathers,
This is war.
one mission,
Oh, poor baby.
and every man for himself.
I'm thinking maybe, we could join up as a team. Like Starsky and Hutch.
We're on late delivery of Turbo Man at Toy Works. Let's go.
there a problem, officer?
You can never do too much to make a child's Christmas magical.
Hey, buddy.
Directed by Brian Levant and written by Randy Cornfield, Jingle All the Way is a father vows to get his son a Turboman action figure for Christmas. However, every store is sold out of them, and he must travel all over town and compete with everybody else in order to find one. It's starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, Phil Hartman, Rita Wilson, Martin Mull's in there, Jake Lloyd, also known as young Anakin Skywalker's in there, Jim Belushi's in there, Vern Troyer's in there for a hot minute. And so is the Big Show.
The Big Show, yeah.
The Big Show, he's in it. So yeah, I picked this because I had never seen it. It's a movie all my friends love. I don't know why I never saw it. It's,
It just passed your little Christmas
yeah,
radar.
It is PG, so it's not like I was too young to see it. It just passed my Christmas little radar, and I had a blast watching this movie.
Did you?
It is not a well-made movie.
No, it's not.
But it was very fun to watch.
it is very nutty movie for sure.
Yeah.
This is actually, I don't want to get into that yet. I'll keep that one down the road. But I do remember always seeing this for me at my my grandparents' house when I was younger, and on the VCR tapes there, as they say, VHSs for you younglings there who don't know what they are. They're these boxes that have tape in them. It's crazy. If you don't know what tape is, you put it on stuff and it makes you stick sometimes. But no, I remember always seeing this movie and always almost watching it every time I went over to my grandparents' house. Even not the holiday season. It's just a fun, goofy-ass movie.
Oh, yeah. I'd agree. I think the shining star here, I mean, obviously the late, great Phil Hartman's in it. He's got a lot of really funny parts, but the shining star of this movie has got to be Sinbad. He, like, anytime the movie's getting a little dull and repetitive, he comes in and just throws a wrench into everything and just says the craziest shit possible. He's half the people on TikTok talking about all these conspiracies.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, they're turning the frogs gay and stuff.
He's like, I did psychology in my junior high school year. I know everything about it.
Yeah. He was so funny. He was... I haven't seen a lot of Sinbad content. I've seen that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia that he's in, and a few other things, but I have never seen him in this big of a role before. And he was by far my favorite character. He was so funny. All the things he kept saying, the fact that he kept telling people that he had bombs, was just, and then one of them actually was a bomb.
Yeah,
it's bonkers. It's a bonkers Christmas movie that also has some truth to it with how crazy people go on Christmas. So I loved it. I again, not a good movie, but I really really liked it.
No, it's just a genuinely fun ride, and just with how psychotic all the people are in this.
It knows what it is and doesn't try to be anything else.
Yep. I mean, with the underground Santa, bust and everything like that. It's just every corner it has got like a different turn of this world that it creates, and how nutty and how everybody's kind of an underlying terrorist if you think about it as well.
And Sinbad is a terrorist.
And Sinbad not only is a terrorist, he also tries to murder a child for a toy.
I mean, who hasn't, honestly?
Every day I think about it. I'm sitting there, I'm like, what can I do that Sinbad wouldn't? Damn.
Remove the plank from your eye before removing the speck from mine. That is what I say. But I thought, it's got a lot of really memorable segments. Obviously, pretty much any segment in a store is great. My favorite bit of all is how all of the stores had the, I believe the character's name is Boomer, or what is it?
Buster.
Booster. Every store had a Booster dolls, and everyone groaned and yelled whenever they said, we got plenty of Booster dolls, to the point where at one point Sinbad goes, we don't want it.
Yeah. There was always the boosters and always any other character from Turbo Man was always on the shelf,
Yeah.
but not Turbo Man ever throughout
Yeah.
it. And just how pissed off people would get, even to the point where at the end they just start actually beating Booster's ass at the holiday parade.
It was a gag that kept on giving.
Yep.
And I laughed boisterously.
I feel that.
I laughed a lot, very much throughout this movie. Phil Hartman, as much as I love him, his character got really annoying.
His character was super pervy too.
Yeah, and I think that's why it was annoying. Like
some of it didn't age well, but definitely he was getting annoying there, specifically at the end.
Yeah, definitely. But I for people who have not experienced life without cell phones, it was kind of cool to remember that people used to just like drive off without any way to be contacted. Mm-hmm. and like they would be like, I don't know where your dad is. Nowadays you would just text him.
Yep.
You couldn't.
Where the hell is your dad? Next thing you know, he's calling you from a box on the street.
Yeah. You couldn't really make this movie today with the same stakes.
Yeah.
Obviously you could do a version of it, with Amazon not being able to send it in 2 days, or what have you. But it's very 90s in everything about it, to the point where the Turbo Man villains are kind of Power Ranger-esque. They're the villains, but they're kind of like Power Rangers. You could see everything in Turbo Man being part of the Power Rangers, which was
which was huge
when I was a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am still of the opinion that Jake Lloyd has gotten a shit hand because
of
Star Wars.
Yeah.
George Lucas did not protect him. He kind of threw him into the woods with that one. And honestly, you shouldn't hate Jake Lloyd for Anakin Skywalker being shit. You should hate George Lucas for Anakin Skywalker being shit, because every word that Jake Lloyd said was written by George Lucas. And guess what? George Lucas cast Jake Lloyd.
Now this is pod racing.
Woohoo!
From what I know, a lot of this was improvised as far as like their lines went.
I believe, especially for Sinbad.
And I think there's specifically one that has to be Phil Hartman, and if it's not, I will not accept it. Is where like he turns to Arnold. He's like, "This is one you can't do a push up for," or some shit like that. Something about working out, and I could see Phil Hartman just turning and saying that directly to Arnold's face and be like, "You can't work your way out of there, work out your way out of this one." Or I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm bad.
You can't bench press your way out of this one.
Yes. I thought that was a funny line that definitely had to be in.
Yeah, funny line at a very serious moment. Mm-hmm. The ending of this movie really reminded me that I hate parades.
Yeah.
I hate parades so much. If you ever see me at a parade, know that I'm being kidnapped or held there against my will. And I do not want anything to do with parades. It's horrible. They're the worst things ever. But I guess this one was kind of fun for, Jake Lloyd's character. There's really...
It's really hard to talk about this movie because it's just one
without just going
ride.
like beat by beat.
Yeah, you kind of have to go beat by beat for this.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was fun. The movie was fun. It was just a roller coaster of 90s, a little nostalgia and everything like that. And you just don't know where to go from that, sadly.
You really don't. I think. What?
I was going to say that this was actually, as far as Christmas movies goes, this is like top 5 for me. Of like, if I had to repeat and watch, this is one of those 5.
Yeah. I'll definitely be watching this again.
Yeah.
If I have one thing to nitpick about it, other than, it not being a good movie, but it is fun to watch, I would just say, like, there is no real lesson that's learned, because it's a lesson that he learns in, like, the first 5-10 minutes of the movie, where, like, he fucked up, he didn't get the kid the toy, even though he promised he would, and then he's just trying to overcorrect the rest of the time. So there's no real arc. It's just which is fine. It's a dumb Christmas movie. There doesn't need to be an arc. But it would be like a little bit better if there was like the kid goes through more of an arc and the wife goes through more of an arc than Arnold Schwarzenegger does.
Yeah.
And everything. And even Sinbad has more of an arc than Arnold Schwarzenegger. But it's just fun. It's really like the scene when he's chasing the bouncy ball and the little girl takes it and everyone thinks he's a pervert, so they start hitting him with the purses. It just takes a lot of dark elements such as that and such as like con men, Santa Clauses having like an underground grift, and just makes them funny.
You know
it
what
makes
I had
terrorism
wished
funny
throughout a good portion of this movie is
What's
that Jackie Chan, I wish he was actually in this, because there were so many moments where I'm just sitting there, I'm like, the way Arnold is like comedically like doing facial expressions and just doing practical things like that, it just kept like reminiscing me about like things Jackie would do and like how much of a Jackie movie this would be if it wasn't Arnold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just feels like a Jackie movie more than anything, and just how fun and crazy it is. It's just like, just try to imagine that if Jackie Chan instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man, that'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah. What's your favorite scene?
Oh dear Lord. Actually, you know what? Speaking of scenes, I'm curious. Did Disney take out? Well, I guess you hadn't seen it, but I feel like Disney took out the explosion in the building when the bomb went off, when Sinbad gave the police the bomb. I could have sworn there was an explosion
Disney
during
owns
that
this
scene.
now, don't they? Mm-hmm. God damn it!
Because they did something else. They took away part of a scene in one of the other movies that they had.
Yeah,
and I do not remember what it was.
So, I mean, when I saw it, you see the explosion from outside the building.
Oh, you hear the explosion and it shakes, but you don't see an explosion.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, you don't see fire or anything, but yeah.
I could have sworn there was an explosion. I could be wrong, though. You know, this is it's probably been 10 plus years since I've seen the movie, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Who knows?
As far as
I have no frame of reference, so I have no idea.
As far as favorite scene, anything really in the mall or in the stores when he's like calling home and Phil Hartman's in his house. It's just he's especially the put the cookie down scene. It's just, anything with Phil Hartman and him exchanging like, why the hell are you in my house? Stop going near my wife, and just things like that. They're always really funny to me.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you silly goose?
Ooh, I really like the scene leading up to the ball scene where, you know, there's the store manager and he's talking about how they have the ball system in place and everything. And legitimately, I laughed the hardest when he says, we have plenty of booster dolls, and Sinbad just goes, we don't want it. That was by far my favorite moment of the entire thing. Favorite scene, man. I'd have to say, I don't know. I really like the diner scene. Not so much like them talking, but like once they hear the radio thing, like them fighting over the phone booth, I thought was really, really clever. Or not clever. It was dumb. It was fun though.
It's all dumb fun.
Yeah, it's all dumb fun. But the Santa grifting, you know, the warehouse full of Santas and everything, and I thought that was a really funny scene. And then him immediately like pulling out the fake badge. Also, those cops are terrible if they can't tell what a fake badge looks like. But it's a kids movie, so you know we're gonna shrug that off. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. About as much fun as I thought I was gonna have. You know, I knew enough about this movie to know that I was gonna like it. So
that's good.
Yeah. So that does it for our review. Let's get into the judgment for Jingle All the Way. I gotta stop doing Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. As always, it has to be a unanimous decision whether or not becomes a little shelf boy with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. It's my choice. So, I gotta go first. I really like this. I think it's definitely. I have to think back on all my favorite Christmas movies, but I would not be surprised if it makes top 10.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit pickier of my criteria of a Christmas movie than Die Hard, just so people say. Like, yes, I admit it is a Christmas movie, but it is not on my list of Christmas movies because it is not enough of a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
But with this, it is a poorly made movie, but poorly written, poorly acted. It's not poorly made. It's poorly written and poorly acted, with the exception of Sinbad and a few scenes involving Sinbad. But it's fun. Is that enough to put on the shelf, though? That's the real question.
Is that a question towards me?
It is. I don't know.
This is my top 5 Christmas movies, man. It's going up on that shelf. I don't even care.
You know what?
This is one that I watch almost annually. I try to, at least. I especially when Christmas Story and everything's playing all the time. I kind of want to. This is a good refresher on other movies exist besides the ones they play all the fucking time on TV.
Yeah. I mean, I love Christmas Story, but I get what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fuck it. Ho, ho, motherfucking ho. It goes on.
It goes on all the way. It went
Jingle
right to our
all
shelf.
The way. So, Jingle All the Way does make it onto the shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. I don't know how I feel about it being on there, but you know what? It's on there. Merry Christmas, y'all. That brings us to our assignment for next week. Glenn, it is the Yuletide season. This is next week will be our second week of the K-Christmas, whatever.
Okay.
KFR Christmas,
Yes,
whatever you want to call it. That
Christmas.
is your pick to choose a Christmas movie or holiday movie. Could be 8 Crazy Nights if you wanted to.
Yes. Oh man, you would have hated that movie. I can already tell that one.
What?
8 Crazy Nights?
I've seen it.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd you like that?
I mean, I like it. It's not a great movie, but I like it.
All right, right up next week is going to be. So, I had a little conundrum here. There's one that I haven't seen that I'm okay with watching, and then I have one that neither of us have watched, but sadly we might have to rent it unless we have cable. Then we could probably watch it on cable some shape
I
or
have
form.
cable.
I don't, but I could find a way to watch it.
Or you could just come over and watch it.
That as well. Yeah. So we have that. So one on the services or one not on the services? Where we might have to either rent or watch it on cable.
One that I have seen and you haven't. Or one that we'll have to rent. Ooh, that is tough.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah. Both pretty well-known Christmas movies, by the way.
Okay. Just for our listeners, so they can have easy access to it. Let's do the one that I have seen that is on services that you have not seen.
Okay. Well, goodbye to Love Actually, and hello to The Holiday.
We might as well be honest with each other. Just tell me, did you sleep with her?
Okay, I slept with her. You happy?
Did you say, am I happy?
You gotta be.
Oh God, here he comes. Oh, Jasper, what's the story with you two anyway? I'm head over heels, you know.
Everybody, may I introduce the newly engaged Jasper Blue?
I hate my horrible life.
Iris and Amanda are in exactly the same place.
Where do I want to go? By myself? Depressed at Christmas.
Just 6,000 miles apart.
Home exchange. We switch houses, cars, everything. Bingo. I need you to answer this.
Are there any men in your town?
Perfect.
Okay. I have not seen Love Actually. Kind of wish I went with that one, but I mean, not that.
I mean, we could still do it. We have all the editing tools in the world.
I've made my bed, and now I will lie in it.
Because, like I said, I'm sure I can, go downstairs and watch it.
No, I've made my bed.
All right, The Holiday it is. The Holiday. 2 women troubled with guy problems swap homes in each other's countries. I thought it was with each other's countries. They swap the whole country, right? They swapped the whole part of the bit where they each meet a local guy and fall in love. Directed by Nancy, I'm assuming that's Myers or Mayers.
Myers.
Myers is also written by her. Stars Kate Winslet, Cameron Diaz, Jude Law, and Jack Black with a bunch of other names in there. I'm sorry, I just am not.
Rufus
bothered.
Sewell.
There you go.
Edward Burns, Eli Wallach, Wallach. John Krasinski's in there for a bit. Yeah.
Oh, he is.
I have seen to this.
How young is he in this?
Probably really young. It's about the time that The Office started.
Mm-hmm.
So, about that age. Yeah, I will say nothing more than it is better than you would think.
Okay.
And honestly, rewatching it might surprise me. We'll see.
Will do.
Yeah.
I really, I mean, if I'm being honest, only really wanted to watch this because of Jack Black, but he's
the main reason.
He doubt he's going to be, the Jack Black that I want him to be in this movie, though.
I can't remember.
Or is he?
I can't remember.
Stay tuned for next week.
Legitimately, the only thing I remember is that Cameron Diaz's character edits movie trailers for a living. That's what she does. That's all I remember.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Well, we can watch that on Netflix and Hulu. So there you guys go.
So the holiday is our assignment for next week. Thank you everyone for listening. As always, you can check out our website at www.keystonefilmreview.com. On Instagram, we are Keystone_Film_Review. Twitter, Keystone_Film. Facebook, Keystone Film Review. YouTube, Keystone Film Review. TikTok, Keystone Film Review. And on Letterboxd, I am Mike, KFR. One breath.
And I am Glenn, KFR.
To clarify, I said that all in one breath. My Letterboxd is not Mike KFR one breath. It's Mike KFR. Just to clarify. But yes, that will do it until next week when we get a little romantic with Jack Black. Yes.
I would romanticize that man any day, respectfully.
He is a good-looking dude. Just because he's a little larger, he doesn't get enough credit.
That means the more he is in charger.
Yes. And
I'm leaving now.
I forget what professional actor it was, but someone that went to high school with him that is a professional actor said that when they were in high school, he was the best actor in their entire school.
Huh.
So he's got the chops. Just saying.
I know him and Kyle Gass were in like band or some shit.
Yeah,
together.
it wasn't Kyle Gass. It was like an Oscar-winning actor said that Jack Black is a really good actor.
I feel like him and Kate Winslet went to school together for some reason. I could
Kate
be wrong.
Winslet is from a different country.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like she's that
Except
good of an actor that she just went over.
she is an honorary southeastern Pennsylvanian.
Oh.
So yeah. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.